They say the more you speak, the more you'll speak. But here's my question for you. Do you have a plan to make that happen? Or do you take a passive approach and leave it to chance? If you don't have a plan, or don't have a plan that's producing results, don't worry, you will soon. With me today is my friend Arel Moody. He's going to introduce you to Talkadot and how it can help you get more gigs while you're giving a talk. It's all yours, Arel.
Peter, thank you so much, man. And for all of you who are watching this, Peter, absolutely nailed it with that introduction. I want you to watch every single moment of this presentation. You may want to watch it more than once. This may not be one of the types of presentations you watch once, you move on, and then you're done. You might watch this while you're in a car driving. You might want to then relook at the visuals of it. I know all of us consume video and audio content kind of differently. Some of us do it while we run, wash dishes, drive the car. So you can definitely listen to what you're about to hear for just the audio. But when you see it matched up with the video, it's going to make a ton of sense. So with that said, let's jump in to showing you how to turn 3 minutes of your talk into a calendar full of speaking engagements. So my goal, here we go now, my slides are pulled up and I feel good about them. I'm going to show you how Talkadot does that, how Talkadot is built to help support you, basically create a snowball, if you will, of every single time you talk to create and do all the work that you don't want to do so you can be on stage more and more, okay? So the simplest truth that most speakers miss, okay? This is the simple truth that most speakers miss. Our job as speakers to speak more is simple. We have to make it easy for people to say yes to booking you. That's pretty much the game. If you can make it easy for your clients who want to book you, for them to make the decision to say yes, then you will book more. Now, if we think about it, oftentimes when it comes to booking speaking engagements and running a speaking business, it often can feel like we're pulling our businesses along. Like it's this like friction, this like really heavy object, just yanking it. And we're hoping one day it will turn into a ball rolling downhill. Now, my goal is to show you how to get that ball rolling down the hill. And I'll go through this very quickly in case any of you are like, who is this guy that Peter is bringing to us? So my name is Arel Moody. I've been a professional speaker for over 17 years. I've spoken in the high school market, the college market, the middle school market, the corporate market, the government market, the nonprofit market, just all over the place. 48 states, 5 countries, 750,000 people. My work and what I've done been featured in lots of different cool magazines and papers like New York Times, USA Today, Forbes, Black Enterprise, Essence. I've been a guest expert on shows like The Doctors. I've done TEDx talks, been acknowledged by presidents of the United States. And I'll play this quickly because it's got some stuff here that might have interest some people. I was able to leverage speaking to become a host of a Disney Plus show. So if you have Disney Plus, you can go on right now and type in Family Reboot, and you'll see me as one of the guest hosts, the guest, what we call reboot guides of the show. This show was produced by Kelly Ripa. Now, all of that and all of the opportunities I've had have happened because of speaking. So you might be wondering, how do I roll and get speaking to help me with book deals or more speaking engagements or TV deals and all that stuff? I want to give you an avenue of how to do that most speakers miss. But first, I want you to grasp why what you're about to get is already how you make your buying decisions, okay? If you remember back in the day, there were cabs. Right? And if you're listening to this only, I have an image here of a cartoon, and there's a cab driver who says, "My life is miserable, my wife can't stand me, my kids don't listen to me, and I hate this job." And the person in the back is thinking to themselves, maybe I should charge for therapy instead of having to pay for a cab fare. And I love this cartoon because it's a funny kind of homage to how miserable cabs were back in the day. It was hard to get a cab. It was late to get a cab. If you're in the cab, they could be smoking cigarettes, they could be driving recklessly, and what could you do? You were just subject to whatever you could get to get you from point A to point B. But then Uber came around, and Uber said, well, you know what? What if there was a better way to do it? What if we could get everyone a car And at any point, you can just jump into someone's car. So the concept sounds great, but when you think about it, on paper, it's absolutely insane. We're jumping into a complete stranger's car and trusting them to drive us around. But there's something that Uber uses to make sure that you and I feel as safe as we possibly can when we jump in the Uber, and for the driver themselves to jump into the Uber, right? There's a very important thing that makes me feel comfortable to say yes to it. And I want to go deeper, okay? How do people make decisions? If you catch this, you're going to see how you can use this in your speaking, okay? So Airbnb, it's another one of those businesses that on paper sounds insane. You're going to go stay in someone's home who you've never met before, never seen before, and you're going to feel comfortable staying in their home. Once you decide on your price range and where you want to go, there's a very specific thing that Airbnb uses, that Uber uses, to make you feel comfortable, to make it easy for you to say yes. I wonder if you're catching what I'm going to give you one more example to see if you can catch it, because I'll tell you it, but I want to see if you're catching it. You go to Amazon, you want to make a purchase. You decide you want a microphone. I got a picture of a microphone here. You want to purchase the microphone. You have a sense of the range, that price that you want to pay. What is the number one thing that helps make you feel comfortable saying yes to buying this microphone, which would be like $400? The reviews. Think about it. You jump on Uber. If your Uber driver has less than a certain rating, gets kicked off the network, then you don't use them. If you have less than a certain number, you get kicked off the network. So the impartial third-party reviews, meaning other people reviewing you, makes you feel comfortable jumping into an Uber because you know other people have co-signed that this person's good. You go to Airbnb, you feel comfortable renting a place that you've never ever seen before or never ever met because you know that other people unbiasedly have rated it 4.8, 4.9. When I go to buy this microphone, if I see this microphone right here with 8,297 five-star reviews, I can pretty much feel confident that other people have used it, it's worked well, it'll work for me. Reviews allow for unbiased assessments of buying decisions. This is super important for us to get. If other people can co-sign on you, and I, as the user, know you have not manipulated it, I then trust it. If I trust it, I feel more confident in making that decision. This should make perfect sense. But then the question that you might want to ask yourself is, how does that happen in the speaking world? Well, let's tell the not so top secret of the reality. You probably have reviews on your website right now, testimonials. You probably have videos of people, but you know what all event planners know, and it's not a secret? You only put the best of the best on your website, right? No one's ever gonna say, I spoke at this conference and I was the 17th best speaker at the conference. You should book Arel Moody. Like, no one's gonna say that. I actually would bet you, if you went to every single speaker's website, it almost looks exactly the same. We've all got this cool little montage video. We've all got these, we're the funniest speaker, the highest rated speaker, and then we cherry pick 3 or 4 testimonials that make us sound like we're the best thing since sliced bread. And then we give this to event planners. Then we ask event planners to take things that look exactly the same and make your best decision. What if there was a way for you to stand out from all of the noise? What if there was a way to take 3 minutes of your talk, capture the reviews that will help event planners know you are actually really, really, really good? That would be an incredible asset. And I'm going to show you how to do that with Talkadot. But before I show you that, there's one other element that I know you want. Once you become an evidence-based speaker, right? This is by getting reviews. This is key. Now you have data to back up why you are as good as you say you are. And I want you to catch this. It's very, very important. With reviews, with data from your audience saying how effective your presentation is, now you move from a subjective expert to an evidence-based expert. Subjective expert means, yo, you should hire me because I'm the funniest, best speaker. evidence-based expert is saying, audiences are saying, the data shows the effectiveness of my presentation over the course of X amount of talks. This is what it's shown. That's where you make it really easy for people to trust that you will come in and do a good job. That's how you stand out. Most speakers who are crushing it are data-based, evidence-based speakers. However, if you are like most speakers like me, when you think of hearing that, that sounds absolutely like outside of my wheelhouse. I'm not going to do studies. I'm not going to do research. I'm not going to gather a lot of data, crunch a lot of data. That's not what my skill set. My skill set is delivering the message that I know that will help transform lives. Talkadot is set up to do all of that work for you. But let's be honest. Peter said something at the beginning of this, which is really true. Speaking begets more speaking. So what that basically means is in every single audience, there's leads. There is nothing more powerful, point blank, than someone seeing you present who can book you to speak and then wanting to book you to speak. It's just hands down, there's nothing more powerful than that. There's no email campaign, there's no direct mail campaign, there's no social media campaign, there's no nothing that can move someone from unknown, meaning you, I've never seen you before, I see you speak for an hour and I go, this is the person that I want. There's just nothing more effective than that. Now, the challenge is if you do a really, really good job speaking, you get rushed at the end of your presentation. So I got a picture of me at the end of a presentation, and I love this picture because someone actually snagged it from bird's eye view. A bunch of people came up to me, and then like 2 hours after my talk, after I'd done like talking to everyone and leaving, I was walking in the hallway to leave, and this administrator runs up to me and says, I'm so glad I caught you. I'd love for you to speak at the board, at the National Association that I'm on the board of. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. And I realized the reason I didn't hear from this person earlier is because they weren't going to wait on a big line. Super successful people who can book you, they don't want to wait on a 3-hour long line to get to you. They'll go, I hope I'll get you later. But what if they forget? What if they don't walk up and find you in the hallway? They may just move on. This happens. And then on Zoom, when you're done with your Zoom talk, right? There's no hallway conversations. There's no people coming up to you and saying, oh my gosh, you impacted my life. Here's my card. Like literally you hit the end button and it's over. You hope that they find you later. So what you want to do is pick out the 1 or 2 people for every single speaking engagement that can potentially book you for another speaking engagement. And if every single time you speak, you can get one person that you can identify in the audience who can book you to speak, well, then every single time you speak, you get a pinwheel, you get this snowball effect that every talk gets you a new talk and gets you a new talk and gets you a new talk. So if you can become an evidence-based speaker, collect the data to make it easy for people to say yes, capture that 1 to 2 people in the audience that can book you to speak, then your calendar starts getting full and full and full. So the way that this happens, the way that we hope to do that for you, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, exactly how to implement it, exactly how much it costs, and all of your questions right now, we do that with Talkadot. Talkadot was built. I wanted Talkadot. This is the thing that I, as a speaker, wish was created to make all the things that I didn't want to do so much easier. And I was able to get in touch with an incredible team of developers and incredible product people to build this tool. And now we have it accessible and it's never, ever existed. So all you have to do at the end of your presentation, towards the end, and I'll show you how to set it up and how to tee it up and then how to use all this data to keep booking talks, is to take this slide, which we create for you in our system, insert it into your presentation, and right before you go into your close. Now, every single presenter typically has some form of a close. We've got a final story, we've got a call to action, we might have a poem, we might have a interaction that we do. We have some type of way that we end our presentation on a high note. What I recommend is right before you do that, right before you finish it off, you actually ask your audience for their thoughts on your presentation. Now, this is why this is really important. If you ask for your audience's feedback at the very, very end, I want you to understand why that will not work. Because your audience will be clapping. So they're clapping and you're going to be like, ooh, stop clapping. Wait, stop clapping. Take out your phone, scan my QR code, give me a survey. It's going to be really hard to get them to stop clapping. And number 2, once they start clapping, emotionally, they've moved on. The tension has ended. The story, the experience is over. They're transitioning mentally into the next thing. You want to catch them while they still have 100% of your attention. So right before you go into that closing at the end of your presentation, all you simply do is say this. Out of curiosity, by a show of hands, how many people felt like they got something valuable out of this presentation today? They're all going to raise their hand because you're going to do a good job. You got Peter coaching you. There's no way you're not going to do a good job, right? There you go. Yes. You go, great. Well, the greatest way to pay me back is to take less than 2 minutes and let me know what you thought about this presentation. I want to know what you liked about it so I can do more of it. I want to know what you didn't like about it so I can do less of it. So I want you to scan this QR code, take out your phones, open up the camera app, scan this QR code right here. There's going to be a code. You can put in that code list. The code could be whatever you want it to be. And as a thank you for taking my survey, at the end of the survey, I'm going to give you a list of 19 groups that book speakers, right? So if you happen to scan this QR code and you want to pause this video and actually take the survey, put in a list, there's a list of 19 groups that book speakers that I created that you can have access to. Now, for your survey, you can give away whatever you want. You can give away a PDF, a video, a link, something that will help people along the way. Now, I did a couple of things in how I teed this up that I want to revisit because I want you to catch it so you can use it if you ever need to. The first thing is, I asked people if they found my talk valuable. If they say yes, psychologically, reciprocity is at its highest. I just said that you impacted my life. I feel like I owe you as an audience member. So I go, great, the greatest way you can pay me back is let me know what you thought about this. It's a real easy ask. I tell them it takes less than 2 minutes, and it does. Because if you tell people to take a survey, they're going to kind of like mentally zone out. So we recommend calling it a Talkadot. Hey, we just want you to scan this QR code, give me your feedback, take my Talkadot. It's kind of like saying Uber or Google or something like that, and people will eventually get it. They scan it, they know it's less than 2 minutes, and our survey flow is super simple, super easy, which I'll show you in a moment. Now, you can also give them something. So let's say you have 5 steps to be a better public speaker, or you've got a chapter of the Captivating Public Speaker book that Peter might want to give out to his audience. He can build it up earlier in his presentation why it's so valuable, and then say, hey, remember that valuable thing I told you about? I'll give it to you for free. Or you remember, we talked about finances? I'll give you the Excel spreadsheet that calculates everything for you. Or, here's the thing, right? Whatever you want to give away, and our system will automatically give it away. So all you have to do is take the slide, put it into your presentation deck, and then you are done. You're absolutely done with it. Now, let me show you what's going to happen with that. I'm going to pull this up. Booyah. Okay, so if you didn't scan the QR code, I'm going to go through this so that you can see what the flow looks like. And then I'm going to show you all of the cool things you get to do with this on the back end. And it's really, really, really exciting. So let's jump in. Okay. So in this case, I'm just going to put in an example of a code and a fake email. Then I hit let's go. The first question is, was this session valuable? Yes or no? If they answer yes, the survey goes in one direction. If they answer no, the Talkadot goes in another direction. Why? Because if they didn't find your talk valuable, you want to find out why. This is not just a marketing tool. You want feedback on what you're doing right and where you can improve. So if people are not finding value, you want to know so that you can improve upon your presentation to find out what was missing, what wasn't there, so you can improve every single time you speak. Let's assume they say yes. We take them through a very quick Likert scale. Likert scale is a 1 to 5 scale. That is how lots of people collect data, but we do it for you, right? So we ask the questions like, is it engaging? Is it actionable? Is it interactive? And was your presentation relevant and inspiring? These are the questions that event planners told us we want to know these things if we're going to book someone. So we set up those quick first Likert questions so that you can provide the information that event planners are looking for, okay? Then we ask, are you interested in hearing future sessions by RL? Definitely yes, probably not, definitely not. And then we ask, do you book speakers for event? Here's where Talkadot gets interesting. If they say yes, Talkadot goes in one direction. If they say no, it goes in another. Why? Because we don't want to be asking people questions that are not relevant to them. You don't want to get asked like, do you book speakers? No. Would you like to book me? No. Would you like to give me your contact information? I can book you? No. You don't want to do any of those things. So this flow is already taken care of for you. The logic's already built in. So let's say someone says yes. The next is, well, would you like to book a rel? Yeah, I'd be interested. Great. Give me your contact information so I can contact you. We pull their email in from what they said before. They drop in their phone. Then we ask for their title and then their organization name. Now, if they didn't say they book speakers, we would skip all that lead capture and jump right to this section right here. Okay, so that's really helpful. And we call this our magic qualitative question. So don't worry about quantitative, qualitative, Likert scale. If you don't know anything about that, we do all that work for you, okay? Qualitative basically means, what did people have to say? Now, we found that this question is actually the best question to ask, which is, if you had to describe this session to a friend or colleague, what would you say? Your detailed insight is invaluable. This is better than asking, what did you like about it? Now, this question will do two things for you that's super valuable. The first thing is you get way better testimonials. So I might say something like, Peter showed me how to put together the best presentation structure ever, you know, and then they'll say whatever else they want to say. So the first thing is you'll get really good testimonials, and I'll show you how you can pull those testimonials in the back end. The second thing I want you to get is you have a vision of what you want your presentation to be. You put it together. This question helps you match, is my audience catching what I'm putting down? Because if my goal is to teach my audience about 5 ways to put together a really good presentation, but all they're talking about is the story that I told about my trip to New England, well, maybe one, that story of the trip to New England is way more powerful than you thought, and you maybe need to build a presentation around that. B, you might be able to change the way that you're approaching it so that your audience is catching what you want them to. So this is a great metric that I like to look at to see, does my audience catch what I want them to catch, and is that consistently happening? Then we ask one more catch-all question, which is like, anything else we should know? This is where they get to say things like, you accidentally offended me when you said this word, or it was too cold because the air conditioner was on, or it was hard for you to hear. Whatever people might want to say to give them a catch-all, this is where they can put that. And then a couple of things happen. The first thing that I want you to notice is that get your bonus pops up. Now, get your bonus is whatever is the thing you want to give your audience. So if you have the PDF, the ebook, the video, the link, whatever it is, that's how they get it. Now, if and only if the person taking the Talkadot says, I book speakers and I want to book you, and here's my contact information, you have the option to put a book a meeting link. So if you have a you can book me, a Calendly, a schedule once, if someone is a super hot lead, they can click on that, go straight to your calendar and book a time to work with you, which is really, really, really cool. And the bonus is, again, whatever is that cool thing you want to give away. I can give away a URL, you can give away whatever it is. I like to give away a summary of my presentation. That's kind of like the easy thing to give away. And then your social media. So if you want people to connect with you on Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn, they can click on that. So all of that is done for you, right? So you can grow your social media following, give away something cool, and book the hottest leads from your audience literally on your calendar right before you walk off the stage. Now, what happens is this is the back end of Talkadot here. So now all you've done is put up your QR code, told people to take it. Oh, by the way, one of the things I didn't mention is when I tell people to take the survey, I found that if I'm in person, when I say, hey, everyone, give me your thoughts on Talkadot, I then say, when you're done taking the Talkadot, put your phone down and look up so I know you're finished. I've just found that that's a very little helpful phrase, that after they're done taking it for about 1 to 2 minutes, and you just give them a little bit of time to take it for 1 to 2 minutes, you tell them to put the phone down and look up, then you can go into your close. I just wanted to make sure I button that up before I go into the rest of this. So that's how you like button up the ask part. Now here is your dashboard. The dashboard is where all of your presentations automatically come in. They get sorted by date. If you do multiple presentations on the same day, they get sorted by time. You can add your presentations ahead of time or just let them full in. So let me show you a presentation that I recently did. So this is a keynote that I did last month. Now, all of that data that they just entered by taking the Talkadot survey, you'll get information on how many people took it. So it says 89 people took the survey for this particular keynote. What percent found my presentation valuable? What percent want to hear me speak again? And then the rating scores of how actionable, engaging, inspiring, and relevant my presentation was. In this case, 90, 92, 92, 92. Now, here is what you do with this information. This is why this is really valuable, and I want you to catch this, okay? The first thing I'm going to do with this report is I'm going to share it with my host, the person who booked me, okay? Now, if you click share this report right here, and then click copy this report link right there, right? I now can email a link that has this report to my host. And when I email them, I do a couple of things. The first thing I do is I say, thanks so much for inviting me to speak. I wanted you to take a look at my feedback report. 98% found my talk valuable. 95% said they want to hear me speak again. And in terms of how actionable the presentation was, 90% engaging, inspiring, relevant, 92, 92, 92. Clearly, your audience wants more of this information. 95% said they want to hear me speak again. They felt this was very relevant. Let's book another talk because this is what your audience wants. Now, this is really valuable for getting rebooked. Why? You don't have to go, did you like the presentation? Did I like the presentation? No. The data shows that it was effective and they want to hear you speak again. So your rebooking rate goes through the roof because some organizations can rebook you, some won't. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. If they can rebook you, they can feel confident in rebooking you because your data shows the audience actually does want to hear you speak again, which is really helpful. The next thing that I do in the email is I say, make sure to share this report with anyone on your committee, especially if they weren't at the presentation. The odds are very high that the person who signs your checks probably doesn't attend your presentation because they're like the CFO and they live in like a tower somewhere. And they're like, why are we spending all this money for you? Now you can say, well, you did a great job. Here's why that money was well spent. So this report, when you share it, does that. The next thing that I do with this quantitative data portion is share it on social media. So it says share this report right here. If you click it and click download report, an image like this gets automatically generated for you. And you can click to download this. This is perfectly structured for social media. Posting this on LinkedIn, posting this on Instagram, posting this on Facebook, putting it in a story, putting it in a post. Most people, when they're done with their presentation, they go, look, I just did a presentation. Here's a picture of me on stage, maybe. Now you can say, here's a picture of me on stage, and here's the data of how effective my presentation was. Now, this is super valuable because this is for people in your social media network to start seeing, oh my gosh, you're really crushing it, and you have data to back it up. So you're separating yourself every single time you post that you did a good presentation because you have data to back it up. Now, if we scroll down on this report here, we have your testimonials. These are the people that said, how would you describe this session to a friend? What was it? So you get things like one of the best speakers I've had the pleasure of listening to, along with being very interesting, it's insightful and relevant, helpful in relating in how things go. Now, let's say I love that testimonial. I want to share it. I can do it in two ways. The first thing I can do is click share this report, download testimonial, and then the report will Talkadot will instantly take the top 2 or 3 testimonials and put them into a social media image. But let's say I just want to share this one, right? Great talk. It had me. It led me to be more interested in learning about developmental stages. I click on this and click download shareable data, and then it instantly turns it into a report, which is really exciting. Now, this is also interesting. I want you to catch this. This person right here put bad abortion joke, somewhat useful information about personality and character development. I never made a statement about abortion. I have no idea what this person is talking about. I would never touch that subject with a 10-foot pole. So I don't know if they heard something that I didn't say. This is on the table. This could happen. So what I do here is just click view testimonial data, and I'm not going to press it just now because this is like someone's real data. But if I click this, this will show me who said it. Now I can reach out to that person and say, hey, you mentioned that I said this in my presentation. I didn't say anything about this. Could you please let me know what you heard? And I reached out to this person and I followed up with this person and they haven't responded back to me, right? But now that person knows that I at least followed up. Did I say something? Like, did I say a word that sounded like something that it wasn't? So if anyone in your audience has a negative experience, they may not walk up to you and say that negative experience to you, right? But with this, you can capture, did something happen that you didn't expect, and then pull it out. So you can get social media shareable images, and you can also make sure people are good. This is the, if there's anything else you want us to know. So, this person says, turn the mic off when you scream. Okay, that's really, really helpful. Like maybe they thought I was too loud when I was talking. So I get this good feedback from my audience. And if there's any suggestions for improvements, those will show up here. So if anyone says your talk's not valuable or they think it could be better, they let you know how to do that right here, which is really, really helpful. So I can share this report on social media. I can share my testimonials. I can share my data. I can share it with the person who books me to help get that ball rolling. The other thing that I do with this report is I share it with potential clients. Let's say someone goes, hey, we're interested in booking you. I go, great. Here's a report from 5 other organizations just like yours. This is unedited feedback. Now, here's what's powerful. Some people may say, well, this wasn't 100% score, Rel. Some of these comments are not positive. Like, are you sure you want to share it? Yes. Because think about it. When you go to Amazon, if you see something with all 5-star reviews and not 1 4-star, not 1 3-star, not 1 2-star, you actually don't believe the reviews, do you? You can, if it's mostly 5 and 4 stars, I feel good. But there's always going to be 3 stars. There's always going to be 2 stars. There's always going to be 1 star. You're never going to get 100%. If you get 100%, I don't really trust it because I feel like you manipulated it somehow or you paid people to do it. I want people to know, I'm not afraid of my data. The data shows what's real. Now, let's say, for example, you're like, ooh, Aurel, but that thing here makes me uncomfortable. So you can unstar it, and then it'll move it to the bottom. And if I click star here and star here, it'll start moving these things to the bottom. Now, if I click view all, I'll get to see what everyone said. So let's just say I just kind of want to move that to the bottom. Maybe I can put, star that one. And then by starring it, I can't get rid of it because if I click view all, it'll still be here in my view all, but it doesn't show up in my overall report, my snapshot report. So there's a way to put your best foot forward, but not necessarily a way to hide your information because we want you to be transparent and we want you to be honest about it. So this report, every single time you speak, you can grab testimonials and post testimonials for weeks after your speaking engagement on social media. Share it with potential clients. Get rebooked, right? So this keeps the spin wheel going. Now, the other thing that we have for you is leads. So up here on the top, it says the My Lead section. Anyone that took your survey and said, yes, I book speakers and I'd like to book you, they go into your My Lead section under the booking category. The booking category is everyone. You can click down and see what they had to say about you. These are all the people that said, yes, I want to book you. And here's my contact information. These are all, this is actually dummy data right here from an account. So you don't reach out to these people. These phone numbers and emails don't work, right? But it's just to show you how it works. The referrals, these are all the people that said, I don't book speakers, but I know someone who does, and I'm willing to make an introduction for you. So these are the people who are the influencers, not the decision makers, right? So they said, hey, I'd love to introduce you to someone. So you would email these people and say, hey, tell me more about the person you'd like to introduce me to. You mentioned that when you took my Talkadot. Everyone here, you go, hey, you said you wanted to book me to speak. Tell me more about that. And then everyone else who gives you their email address goes here. One of the things we don't do as speakers is build our email list. So with this, you're building your email list. People who've seen you speak are the best people to have on your email list because when you have a new book that's coming out, a coaching program, or you're looking to book more speaking engagements, keeping a relationship going via your email newsletter is so valuable. And most of us miss building a really nice email list. And you can download you can click here and just click download leads. And you can download everything as a CSV file and then upload it into your MailChimp. If you have a CRM, you can upload all the leads into your CRM. So it's all done for you. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So this is the gist of how Talkadot works. Now, I'll show you this real quick. And then I'll show you a really advanced thing. And then I'll show you how much it costs and how to get a really good deal on it. If you just want to create that slide that I talked about, you just click add another survey offer. You click here, you type in the URL or upload whatever's the thing you want to give away. You name it something so you know what it is. It could be like, captivating public speaker chapter. Then you create a short offer code. So that could be like the word book, speaking, bonus, like whatever is the word you want people to put into your survey so that they can take the survey and get that free thing. Whatever you put off the offer code at step 3 tells our tool to give away what you put in step 1. If you want to add a custom question, you can add a custom question. So if you want to say something like, are you interested in public speaking coaching? Let me know. And then you'd get a list of everyone who said they were interested. Or you could say like, hey, I covered 5 things in my presentation today. Which one thing stood out to you the most? So if there's any like specific question you want to ask, you can ask that there. And then all you do is hit create offer. And then that slide, and I'll give you a little example, gets automatically created for you. And you just click download and you're good to go. So it's all done for you. Now, if you want to take a really quick advanced thing, so I'm going to show you something really advanced. Okay. If you are not familiar with ChatGPT, you could do a whole training on AI. If you are familiar with ChatGPT, one of the things that some of our users are doing, which I think is very cool, is they go here and they just highlight their testimonials and their data, right? And hit control copy. Then they head over to ChatGPT and say, write a press release on my presentation using this data and these testimonials. And then you paste it into ChatGPT, and the artificial intelligence, and ChatGPT is free, will automatically create a press release for you that you can send to your client so that they can share with their media outlets on your presentation. And then you start getting free media publicity. Or you can take your data and start asking questions to AI, like, what were the 5 things that I did best in my presentations? Or what were the 3 things that I did best? And then it'll actually analyze the data for you and say what you did best. And then you can say, well, what are things that I could improve upon? So you can start leveraging ChatGPT or other AI technologies that exist to feed your data into and get press releases, figure out where you can get better, do promotions. And it's really exciting. And one of the things that I did, and I'll show you this on my speaker website, which was really helpful. Let me pull this up. So I took a whole bunch of my testimonials, and let me just scroll down to it as my internet loads. Here we go. So I took a whole bunch of my testimonials from Talkadot, put it into ChatGPT, and I said, what are the top 5 reasons audiences like booking Aurel Moody? And based on the data, it says Aurel simplifies complex processes, Aurel's engaging and relatable, Aurel's empowering and inspiring, he provides practical advice, and he's highly recommended. And then, I insert my Talkadot stuff on my website to show people like I have actual data. But what's great about this is now I know exactly why audiences like me. Sometimes the hardest thing that we can do as speakers is talk about ourselves in an effective way. We know our presentation's good. We know our stuff is life-changing, but it's hard for us to like really articulate why. Now with all of your audience feedback and AI, you can instantly find out exactly what's amazing. And you know what? I never would have came up with this on my own. But when I read it, I go, that's exactly who I am. So if you ever want to do a whole in-depth training on AI and ChatGPT, we can do that as well. But I want to go to the last portion here because I'm sure this is going to be on your mind, which is pricing. How much does it cost to use everything that we just talked about? So here's how it works. We have a forever free account. What that means is you can capture data, turn them into reports for free forever. Okay? No limits, get as much data because we want you to become an evidence-based speaker. Okay? Now, We do limit the amount of contacts you can capture to 100 on the free account. And you can do 3 offer codes, meaning you can give away 3 different things. So if you have like more than 100 people to add to your email list or 100 booking leads, well, we're hoping that if you have more than that, you got to be able to turn that into a little bit of business. So if you want, we have a pro feature, which is $35 a month, billed annually, which is $420. Okay. With that, you get unlimited responses, unlimited events, unlimited contacts, unlimited offer codes, and you can do custom questions. You can integrate that booking link that I mentioned so people can book you. That's a pro feature. And if you have a speaker flow, you can integrate with speaker flow. We come out with like lots of new features all the time, but you can do this for super inexpensive. And think about it. If you charge $4,000 for a speaking engagement, if you just get one using Talkadot, you 10x your investment in Talkadot. And to do something really special, we did something with Peter. There's a link that Peter has that he'll give you access to. If you click on Peter's link, we'll give you a pro account for 30 days, no credit card required. So you can test run, use our tool for a presentation. And if you decide to say, yes, you know what, I do want to upgrade, instead of it being $420, it'll be $374 for you. Right? So you'll get a nice discount off of Talkadot for the first year. It'll be $374. And then after that, it'll renew at $399. But again, it's a one-time fee, the $399 or $374 if you use this link. You'll get access to data, to leads, and all you have to do is just insert that one slide into the end of your presentation, tell people to take it, and then all of this gets done for you in the background. So I hope this has been really helpful for you. I hope you realize that you can use data. You can use this as a way to get better. You can use this as a way to uncover what you're really good at and how to talk about yourself. You can use this as a way to capture leads. You can use this as a way to grow your email list. And you can use this as a promotional tool on social media and a rebooking tool. All of that is automatically done for you using Talkadot. So I'm going to pause there and say thank you to you for watching this. And again, this was a lot. You may want to revisit this again. That's totally cool and totally fine. And I'm going to open it up to Peter to see if you have any questions, if I covered everything, if you want me to jump into anything, happy to do that so that your members can get the most value from our time here together.
First of all, Arel, thanks so much for providing this. This was excellent. You covered so much ground. But some of the things I took away from this is how far ahead of the curve you are. You and your team who put this together to cover so many different aspects, but then to even include ChatGPT into the idea of how can I take this even further. I have to commend you. It's showing us how we can stand out from the pack. And isn't that what we're always trying to do? So even when you talk about sending it to social media, not only does it stand out from the pack because it's not just, hey, look, here I am with the crowd at ABC Corporation. It's also standing out because it looks different on the feeds. It's right there for you.
Yeah, that's
so I have a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
What's your advice for someone that says, hey, this is all great, but I'd really be nervous about incorporating this into my talk. I don't want to slow down my momentum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use slides. Do I have to now use slides just for this one slide? What's some of your advice?
Yeah, so that's a really, really great question. And we actually get that question from folks a lot because they're like, hey, man, I've got a certain flow that I do. So let me pull up a couple of things that I think would be helpful. Let me share my screen here. So this is an example of your Talkadot slide. So to answer that one question, which was, oh, but I don't use slides. Now do I have to use slides? Well, in addition to your QR code, you all get your own short Talkadot link. So talk.ac/Moody in this case, right? Or /Arel. So you can literally just tell people, take out your phones, type in talk.ac/Moody, MOODIE, and then it'll pull up the exact same survey. So whether they go to a QR code or they go to a link, that works. If you don't use slides, maybe you use like a whiteboard or maybe use one of those big Post-it notes. All you do is just write talk.ac/Moody on it and tell people to type it in, and they're good to go. If you have any physical handouts that you give people, some people might give like a workbook or a handout or something like that. You can embed the QR code or your link on it, print it on there, because the link never changes, the QR code never changes. It's not like it's a new QR code for every single different survey that you take. It's one persistent code. So you could print this on all your materials and never have to worry about it going out of date. So there's lots of different options for how you can present it. So I definitely recommend using what works best for you. I'm doing a presentation where they don't have any slides, like they don't have a projector, so I can't pull it up. Now, if you do want to, you could easily just choose one slide, because a lot of organizations and events have projectors set up. So if they have projectors, you could just have literally just the one slide. So there's lots of different avenues for you to do it. The key is to find the one that feels most organic and natural for you, and do that one. In terms of introducing it, literally all you have to do is introduce it right, and this is the key in my opinion, right before you go into your close. Typically, most presenters, they have a story, they have like points, and then they button it all up. That buttoning it all up, right before that, we've tested lots of different things. Right at the middle, right at the beginning, right at the end. We tested lots of different things. That place is the most natural place to do it. So what I would encourage you to do is do it first and see how it feels. You'll actually find that anything that's new feels uncomfortable at first. And what we found from most presenters is that the audience actually likes taking the survey. And here's why this is fascinating. When you say, I want to know what you liked about it so I can do more of it, and then you take that 1 to 2 minutes to allow people to take it, they actually know that you care. They actually know that you want to get better. So from our audience perspective, we've actually gotten subjective feedback where people come up to us and say, you know, I've been to tons of events. I've never had a speaker actually ask for our feedback before. I think that's so cool. So you get these people excited about you. Then what's also cool, and I didn't mention this, but you can do this. We have some speakers who do this, and I actually started doing this. Since your data is instant, right? So like on the back end, there's no like, you don't have to wait 30 minutes for it. It literally tabulates itself instantly. One of the things that I like to do is right after the presentation, I either on my phone or on my laptop will show the data to my client at the event. And I'll say, hey, thanks so much. Hey, the data's already in. Check out what they had to say. So now that your host is at a high because they brought you in, and now they've got that high confirmed, their excitement and desire to rebook you or refer you gets like put through the roof. So I would say any type of uncomfortable feeling that you have, just know that thousands of other folks have used this, and we have tons of people constantly showing us that the audience likes it, the host likes it, and building it in is definitely a new action, but the benefits of it and the desires of it have really no downside. The only downside that I would say that I've seen from experience is that if you just say, hey, take my survey, all right, everyone, and then go into your story while people are actually taking it, then the downside is you're speaking to an audience that's not paying attention to you. That's why you have to just build in 2 to 3 minutes, 1 minute to like explain it, 2 minutes for people to take it. That's why we say 3 minutes into your presentation for them to actually do it. Because if you just say, take the survey, and then they're taking it, and then you start going into your close, now you don't have a captive audience. So that's why it's important to say, when you're done taking the survey, put your phone down and look up, and then I'll leave you with my close. And then you just jump into it. We have so many people who are proving that this works. But the good thing for all of you is most speakers still aren't using this. So this is your way to separate it with just a little bit of activation energy. The benefits of it are just really, really high.
Arel, this isn't a question, it's an observation. When you and I first spoke about this, in my mind, I was thinking, well, what about, and then you came to a solution for that. And then I'd think, well, what about this? And you talk more, and I'm like, oh man, he's covered that too. Well, I'm sure he didn't cover this aspect. And then you'd say, and we also have this. You can tell this was put together. And I know you have a whole team working on this, but the ideas encompass what a speaker would know, not just someone coming out with an app to help speakers. You can tell you're an experienced speaker, Also, that you know what it takes to help others and yourself getting more gigs. So I just think it's fabulous. And that's why I'm thrilled that you took the time and the effort to help, in this case, specifically my speakers, but overall speakers in general.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And one of the things that I have experienced, and I think as a speaker, anyone watching this knows, we we often try to make tools that aren't built for us work for us. We try to figure out how to take all this technology that people say we need, and it's never really built for us. And what I'm so excited about Talkadot is that it was initially conceived for our space. So it's built, and we're constantly going to be making improvements and updates and listening to our users to make it built just for us. So that's why when people say, well, I could use like a Survey Monkey or a Typeform, I'm like, yeah, you can do it. You know, you can also cut a steak with a butter knife. I don't recommend it, right? So our goal is to, and if you're a vegetarian, like cut your tofu, with this. I mean, you probably cut tofu with a butter knife, but you get what I'm trying to say. Instead of it being not built, it's custom built for us, and it costs less than most of the other, than Survey Monkeys and Typeform's annual plans. So we really hope that it's a no-brainer. And I really hope that people sign up with the link that you have so they can experience it. And again, if you don't want to pay for it, we've got a forever free account. We got your back, but we hope that you get value from it and you go up to the pro account and it's something that's useful for you.
I can't see how anybody who uses this and who speaks frequently won't go up to the pro. And if they want to start at the free, great. But those extra abilities that you have, capabilities with that pro, how could you not use it? Small price to pay for the gigs you'll get from it.
That's right. That's right.
Arel, thank you again so much. I can't express how much I appreciate this. On behalf of my group, my clients, my prospects, people who are on my email list, I want to thank you for them as well.
My happiness to do this with you, Peter. I can tell that you have just a great heart and a great spirit and a great knowledge of the industry. So to help support the people that you are directly helping is amazing. So thank you for allowing me to do this session with you.